Hello, everyone. Dr. Tammy here. I am just wanted to share a couple thoughts with you about managing our emotions and our anxiety levels. We have talked about this. I've put some videos out about managing our anxiety levels and how to reduce anxiety. But today I wanted to just share a couple thoughts with you and help you with. Just the uncomfortable emotions that arise as we are interacting in our lives and dealing with different people and maybe out in the public, at work, or while we're out and about. We struggle sometimes with the overwhelming emotions, and then those emotions can really trigger anxiety. So why does this happen? Why does it happen? And we have to understand why it happens, and then what we need to do about it, how we can help ourselves with that. Well, the reason why these emotions and anxiety come up for us is because of our thought process. Now, we are experience 70 plus thousand thoughts, automatic thoughts in a given day. And our minds just continually go. We have these thoughts that just go, and random, it just can whatever pop into our head. And so, but our thoughts are very much guided by our core beliefs. So inside of us, what we believe very strongly, that was developed from the time we were quite young. In fact, the very beginning, our earliest beginning, those core beliefs about who we are, about other people, and about the world, those core beliefs started developing. So our automatic thoughts are really coming from these deep-seated beliefs. Now, our environment, where we're at, what we're doing, who we're around, will trigger these automatic thoughts that tap into those core beliefs. So I'm going to give you an example. One of my core beliefs used to be, it is no longer, one of my core beliefs used to be that I was incapable of learning, that I was not intelligent or capable of really learning and expanding my education or knowledge. That core belief came from my childhood. Very negative experiences in school. I had ADHD, inattentive type, that wasn't diagnosed, and a very uh, horrible, dysfunctional home life. And so I didn't get the support there. Learning disabilities, I'm sure were in existence. So I failed throughout school, and I never knew what was going on. I felt confused in my mind, and my home was so dysfunctional that it just was in this place of chaos in my head. But as a kid, I interpreted all of that as my inability to learn, that I was dumb, that I was stupid, that I would look at other kids and see that they could read and they were smart and they liked to read. That was foreign to me. And then I interpreted because of the big red marks and the F's on my papers and failing. And of course, negative comments from my parents, and that didn't help. So that core belief developed that I was incapable of learning. I was incapable of being smart. So how did that play out in my automatic thoughts? Well, because as I'm in my environment, school, the world, in places where there are smart people, I automatically would think, I wish I were smart. I wouldn't even talk. I was afraid to say certain things because the people I was around I thought were smart and I was dumb. So I have nothing. I will just embarrass myself. Those are those automatic thoughts. You're not smart, Tammy. You shouldn't be around these people. You can't go to school. You can't go on to college. That will never be for you. You can't read. You don't like to read because you can't read. So all those automatic thoughts. Then, bam, the negative emotions, feeling very badly about myself, sad, depressed, feeling like a loser. Of course, part of my that's thought process, but also just the way I felt about myself, my emotions. And then, of course, that influences and affects our choices we make. So I chose to go in a way that a person would go who believes that way about themselves and does not expect better for themselves, instead of going in a direction where I knew better and I chose a direction of going to college and choosing better for my life. So, of course, like I said, I no longer am in that place of that core belief because now I know better. I changed that core belief. I worked on that core belief and changed that core belief. Now I know better. And so I started going to college. And of course, the rest is history. I went through many years of college, earned 2 master's degrees and a PhD in clinical psychology, became a clinical psychologist, licensed marriage and family therapist, have written, published a book, and have completed a second. So those core beliefs were inaccurate and untrue. They were not true. But because that core belief was there, it affected my automatic thoughts. Again, all those thoughts are coming automatically, 70,000 plus a day. We have 64 point something every minute. So on it goes, on it goes, on it goes. But those thoughts are coming from deep within. But our environment, so when we get out in our environment, that's going to trigger the question of the core belief. That's going to trigger, and it's going to trigger these, bring up these automatic thoughts. Okay. So if you have a core belief that you are awkward or you don't have a good personality, somewhere along the line, those years back there, that core belief took root. It was from different experiences in your environment, your home, outside of your home, school, neighborhood. Those core beliefs took root. So maybe you were left out. Maybe you were never chosen for the team sports. Maybe you were laughed at and made fun of because you talked funny or you dressed funny. Maybe your parents said things to you when you were young that have taken root. And so now you go out in your environment. Maybe you go out to an event, you go to be where there are other people, and your automatic thoughts start screaming, "You're awkward. Nobody likes you. You always say the wrong thing." Okay, here comes a bombarding of automatic thoughts that now are affecting your mood and how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself. So the emotions go into a very negative place of I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm frustrated, I don't like myself, I don't like other people. And so it goes into this very unhealthy place. But it all comes from those rooted ideas down deep within you that now affect your thinking, which affect your emotions, which ultimately affect how you behave. Because now what's the behavior going to be? You're going to be less inclined to go out and hang out with those people or do those things or be around these people or those people because you don't like the way you feel. those negative emotions are going to come up. So in order to avoid those negative emotions, you're going to try to just avoid altogether those things. That's not going to get you free of the negative core, toxic core beliefs, toxic thinking, and all those awful emotional feelings. So, excuse me. What do we do? Remember, I said we have to recognize, we have to see what it is, and then know what to do about it. Well, we got to start challenging and look at those core beliefs. What do you believe about yourself, about other people? What is in there? Take a look at that. Write that down. What is it? Do you think you're smart or dumb? Do you think you're capable or not? Do you think you're a loser or a winner? Do you think you are special or not? Do you think you're a mistake? Do you think you're awkward? Do you think you're unlikable? All those things you need to take a look at and see what is there and where did they come from. We weren't born into a vacuum. We were born into a family system. We were born into a family or a group of people that were supposed to care for us and love us. But when that doesn't happen, or when there's things that fall by the wayside, for some reason, something happens and we get different messages, then there's these core beliefs. So we take a look at that, and then we have to correct them with what is true. What is true? My friend, what is true? Well, I'll tell you what's true. God says he created you in his image. God wove you together. God says he wove you together in your mother's womb. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. That is what God says. God Almighty, the creator of the universe, says this about you. So whatever those core beliefs are, whatever was said and told to you is a lie, and you need to recognize it as a lie. God says he created you. He says he knows every hair on your head right now. You know how many hairs we lose? Well, you don't want to know how much hair I lose. We lose hair all through the day, but God is always watching you. He loves you. He adores you. You are special. He designed you. There is no one else like you. He has given you your own personality that is different than anyone else's. So, my friend, this is where we start. We evaluate and look at those negative, wrong core beliefs that somehow they were developed there, and we change them up and we say what is true. And then we begin to change the thinking, the stinking thinking. We change it to what God says is true. So when those thoughts come up and you go out there and you're feeling awkward and weird and having a hard time, you remind yourself of what God says. Hey, God says he loves me. God says he knit me together in my mother's womb. God says I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God says he created me in his image. So if we are created in his image, whoa, think on that one. Think on that one. We, my friends, need to be transformed in our minds to have our minds renewed by what God says in his word is true, okay? And it can be done, and it is life-changing. So that's how you do it. You don't avoid those things. Don't pull back because you're not comfortable, because let me tell you, when you start changing those core beliefs to what God says is true, when you start changing that negative thinking, those incorrect thoughts that we think all day, those automatic thoughts, when those start changing, now your emotions, those negative emotions are going to change. Now you are actually going to feel better. You're going to like yourself more. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more contented. You're going to have more of a positive experience with relationships and with people. And in your environment, you're going to experience it very different. So that's all I have for you right now. Love you all. God bless you. And remember, work on those core beliefs and automatic thoughts that is ultimately going to change your emotions. God bless you. See you next time.